Welcome to this week's Lokar Car Show. We're in sunny Florida on the Emerald Coast in Destin for burning up the beaches. Finding this 1950 Mercury chopped lead sled at an auction was a stroke of good luck for Barbara Mednick and her husband.
We were at an auction in South Florida, actually in Punta Gorda. Went across the block and we kept thinking about it and thinking about it. Didn't buy it right then and there, but a little bit later we couldn't stop thinking about it and went back to it, and the owner made us a really good deal and we drove home with it.
It's got a 350 Chevy engine with tri-power, and there's not a gas station she doesn't like. She stops at every one of them. It's only got a 10-gallon tank, 7.5 to 8.5 miles per gallon. Costs a lot to take for a ride. We're still looking to find tri-power with chrome tri-power. I found the set and didn't buy it. I can just kick myself in the butt for not getting it.
This 2012 Dodge Challenger Yellow Jacket has had every modification possible done to it by Jorge Gonzalez, including $10,000 in chrome.
This Challenger was purchased in, it came out in 2012. They made 500 of them. It is a limited edition. It came out with the Super B Charger and the Yellow Jacket Dodge Challenger. They came out with 470 torque, 470 horsepower. Ever since I purchased the car, I drive this car daily. I go on the track with it. I got 78,000 miles with it already. I drive it every day, but I also got it as a collector's car. It does 0 to 60, 4 seconds, quarter mile, 12 seconds. Top speed right now is 184. That's the antifreeze flows through there, and it's like glass. So you see the antifreeze flowing when the car heats up. So it's like the blood running through the veins of the 392.
When he acquired this 1970 Chevelle LS6 4 years ago, Philip Moran says he and a crew took it completely apart, nut by nut and bolt by bolt. Looks like they got all the pieces back together again.
It's a 1970 Chevelle SS 454, it's the LS6, and we enjoy doing the power tour and cruising. We do the cruising the coast on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and this is our first year here at Burning Up the Beaches. We're looking forward to going on the power tour in about a month from now, but it's a lot of fun to cruise in. We've put the vintage air on it, which makes it a little more comfortable to cruise up and down the road, and it's just a lot of fun to come out and see so many different people and different cars everywhere you go. That's the beauty of it, is the camaraderie and the different vehicles you see, and you get to show your car and the work that you've put into it along with everyone else. One of the things we did was we took the original Turbo 400 out and put in a brand new 700R, because out on the highway it makes it much more compatible with the long travel. We'll do about 2,500 miles this year. So when you do that, the original transmission doesn't work well with a big block, so we changed that one thing out. We changed the transmission out. The car does really well. Put in some additional cooling fans to keep that big block cool, and so it works well. So, you know, with the 700R, you ratchet down the first and second gear, it'll light the tires up. This is about 500 horse, about 500 torque. There's just a lot of motor in that 454, but it's a lot of fun, has a great sound to it, and a lot of fun to drive. The power steering makes it easy to maneuver. And my friend and I, he has the Nova, and we travel all around to these different shows, and like I say, we're really looking forward to the power tour and driving up through the Carolinas in the beautiful area. So we're like I say, this is our first time down here for this show, and we love it. It's beautiful down here.
John Minger spent several years in negotiations, and finally he convinced the owner to sell him this 57 Chevy Bel Air.
I bought the car in Bentonville, Arkansas from a man I'd been dealing with for a couple of years before I finally bought the car. And I bought it like it is. I've done some work on it, but most of the car is just like I bought it. I always wanted a 57. I owned the 66 Corvette and the 70 Chevelle there, but the 57 was #1 on my list. It runs great. It's got a Corvette LT1 engine in it. It's Corvette transmission, rear end, front to back. It's got a custom Corvette suspension on a Art Morrison frame. It's a great car. Drives, cruises wonderful. That's why another thing I wanted was a cruise car so I can drive it cross country without the thing overheating and breaking down.
We'll be right back with more amazing cars on the Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group. The Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group, is brought to you by Heart of Appalachia. Virginia is for lovers. Original Parts Group, world-class restoration parts. Brothers Truck Parts, your #1 source for 1947 to 87 Chevy and GM truck restoration. Lokar, quality, plain and simple. For her birthday, Janet Henderson's husband said she could have any car she wanted. So they started looking, and they found this 72 Chevelle SS.
And we finally found one in Lexington, Kentucky over 13 years ago. My husband restores cars, so he went to Lexington and bought the car, brought it back, took it down to the frame, put it on the rotisserie, and this is my car. I told him when he built it, he could make it as pretty as he wanted it, but I was gonna drive it. So I've been driving it now for 12 years. I used to have a 350 small block under the hood, but for Christmas a couple of years ago, I got an LS1 motor, and now you can see I have a beautiful LS1 motor in there, and I have new interior. The interior was 12 years old, so we just replaced the interior in it, and I have an awful lot of fun in it. Absolutely, that and the music. Well, if you're in the car world and you know going topless is the only way to go. So when we put the top down, it's just a beautiful day full of sunshine, and your hair blows in the wind and the music sounds even better. So I live in Bowling Green, the home of Beach Bend. We go out to Beach Bend for a lot of car events, and always have a lot of fun doing things out there.
Gene Ayers bought his 1954 F100 from a lady who worked with him and then got started on a full restoration.
It was drivable. It would run, but it wasn't drivable. I had to do a lot of body work, a lot of sheet metal work, and just kind of go from there. It really didn't start out to be what it is. I just go lower it and make a little hot rod out of it. And then it just, like I said, it just kind of evolved into where it is now. I wanted something that was different, and like I said, it just, I mean, I don't know how to tell you how it happened. It just, I cut it up, put air ride on it, got it where I wanted it in height, and then started messing around with paints. And my boy works for a body shop, and he showed me these colors, and I got a sample, painted it, a little bit of it, and it went from there. It took me 7 years building. When I bought it, I just took it to the shop, put it on the lift, and it never left again for 7 years. And just, you see, it is what it is now. I mean, it just turned out really, to me, really good. It's not like anybody else's stuff, and that's kind of what I wanted to start with, was something that was just a little bit different. Absolutely, and that's what, to me, that's what it's all about, is showing what you've done. I'm not a professional. I don't do this for a living. It's just a passion of mine to build stuff. And like I said, I own a welding shop. I do dustless blasting for the old restoration cars, and I just enjoy doing it. And to me, it's not about winning trophies. It's about letting people see what you've done. And it's like me, when I go to the car show, I look for ideas. You know, everybody don't think the same. And you know, and like I said, you may see something else I want to do to the truck, or when I build the next one.
He went to an auction looking for a Corvette, but when Robert Baudier saw this 1955 Chevy Bel Air, he ended up buying it instead.
Yeah, we have about 4 or 5 of us, maybe sometimes 6. We all got motorhomes and we got trailers, and we all live around Slidell, most of us. So we travel together and with our cars and our trailers, and we pretty much go all over, from Daytona all the way to Louisiana, you know. And we've been here about 5 or 6 times already to this show. It's a nice show, it really is. The wives like it too because it's in the shopping mall. It was in almost the same shape you see it. I did a few little things to it, not a whole lot, you know. Did some brake job on it, and I had put a few pieces of chrome under the hood and changed a few things under the hood, but not a whole lot. It was pretty much like it was. Yes, it's an excellent driving car because it's got a little LT1 engine and a 350 LT1. So it's all fuel injected, electronic ignition. It's a great driving car. Never gives me any problems anyway.
It's time for Lokar Lowdown with Jeffrey Walls.
I'm here today to share with you the Clayton Machine Works pedal assemblies that we offer. We offer direct fit pedal assemblies for your early A-body Camaros, as well as the second gen Camaros and your Novas and Chevelles as well. We offer this in a gray finish with an optional e-brake cover, as well as the throttle assembly for either of the different models. This is also available for a drive-by-wire pedal that is already factory installed. On the other side, we offer brake and clutch pedal covers or auto brake covers in our black finish, anodized, and our pedal assembly for that as well, with the same different mounting options, whether you have that early model Camaro, the second gen Camaros, or even a Chevelle. Please check these out and more at our ClaytonMachineWorks.com or see us at one of the shows.
Welcome back to the Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group. When Jason Graham found this 1953 Chevy 3100, it had 9 coats of paint on it. So he applied some elbow grease, took it down to bare metal, and gave it a fresh coat of makeup.
So we found the truck on Craigslist in Theodore, Alabama. The truck was actually painted at the time. Bought the truck and bought a S10 frame to go with it. Brought it home, started sanding it down, had 9 coats of paint on it. Took it down to the bare metal, left some of the paint, you know, for the patina look. Took the S10, tore it apart, completely rebuilt the S10 frame, control arms, put a 2002 Blazer 4-wheel drive rear end under it. So I have the disc brakes all the way around. Once we got to that point, we found a guy in Knoxville, Tennessee, actually Powell, Tennessee, Redemption Rods and Rides. We had him put the truck together. So the engine's out of a 2003 Tahoe, which has been completely rebuilt. Bored 30 over, custom cam. Got the 4L60 transmission. It's got 342 gears. But he essentially put the truck together for us in this condition that it's in from the ground up. I am very happy with the product. We've been finished with it for about a year now. We've got over 5,200 miles on it. It's a good driver. Cruise control, air conditioning, just set the cruise and go. So it's unique. It's something that can't be duplicated. Everybody just has a painted vehicle, so just something to catch attention. And plus, my wife, she had a big hand in it. As far as the patina look, it gets attention.
After their 4th daughter was born, Paul Starla and his wife decided they had a little spare time and they wanted a project.
I usually don't get time off work. I work for the military and just took advantage of all the opportunities. And a year later, she's on the road and cruising, burning up the beaches. She likes the Bel Airs and Corvettes, and I like the Corvettes, so we met in the middle. We got a Core Air. Most of the stuff was original, so the original parts, I would take them apart, clean them, and put them back together. And if there was an issue, I would fix it. But I got the owner's manual, the original engineering drawings, and I went through and double-checked all the wiring, replaced anything that needed replaced, and everything works as if you wouldn't bought it off the lot today. I grew up in the Midwest, Kimball, Nebraska. You don't see any convertibles out there, so this was always one of my dreams to get a convertible, and it's been fun. It's a blessing. Yep, this is her car. When she turns 16, this is the car she's gonna drive. When I look back in the mirror and I see that smile on her face, it just melts, you know, just takes you to a whole different level, a different world. Being a father is such a great thing.
Original Parts Group Incorporated Restoration Tip.
Here at Original Parts Group, we've got an awesome collection of classic GM cars. Not only muscle cars, but as you can see, luxury as well. We're now doing a full line of Cadillac parts from 1936 right through to 1993. But what's new today is we are manufacturing 1961, 2, 3, and 4 Cadillac taillight lenses, tail fin lenses, and taillight lenses. So what we're focusing on today, we've got the 1963 tail fin lens for Cadillac. It has all the correct horizontal diffuser lines. It's made out of injection molded red plastic, as you can see, that's identical to what GM did. It's even got the correct factory guide and SAE markings stamped right into the lens with the correct year. We also carry the in-bumper lens, taillight lens for this same 63, and the backup light lens for the same car, all again featuring the correct markings, SAE and guide markings. These are available. We actually carry them for a full line of Cadillac right up to about 1970. A lot of these parts too are what you would put the last thing when you've restored your car. You've spent all that time and effort restoring the car, putting in a beautiful new taillight lens that's not cracked or faded. Just dial the thing in perfectly. So you can order these and any of the other Cadillac parts you want at opgi.com, or you can call us and order your free full color catalog today.
We'll be right back with more amazing cars on the Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group. The Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group, has been brought to you by Rod End Supply. We don't just sell them, we race them. H&M Saw, the saw that cuts straight. McKee's 37, complete auto and RV care. Advertising Edge, the official uniform of the NHRA.
Isn't it amazing? You know, this is year 8 of burning up the beaches, and it was designed as my compadre, L.A. Woodall. Him and I came up with this, and it's our biggest fundraiser. It is put on completely by our nonprofit. We didn't know what we were doing. We've met some fantastic greats in this industry. Jimbo Perkins with Gulf Coast Motorsports, Barry Margolis, who was the founder of FloridaCarshows.com, and they would give us all this great advice. And here we are 8 years later. We have this fantastic car show. It makes $34,000 to $38,000 every year for the Arc of the Emerald Coast, and that money goes directly to our clients that we serve. The clients served by Arc of the Emerald Coast and Arc National are people with intellectual and developmental disabilities such as Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, and autism. We serve over 450 men, women, and children in a 3-county area. So we need every penny we can get, and this one does it. We love it.
Jerry Morgan was searching through the classifieds in the newspaper when he found his 1960 Chevy Corvette.
Went and looked at it. It was wrecked in the front end at the time, so I made a deal and bought it and brought it home, and took 7.5 years for me to restore it. It was my first time to do any fiberglass body work. I'd worked with metal a little bit before, but never any fiberglass, so it was my first try at that. No, it's basically just like we're going to drive it. We've been driving it for about 30 years. I've owned it since 1967. I mean 1987. So yes, this is a daily driver. Yeah. We've got 20,000 miles on it in those years, so yeah. We hardly ever trailer it anywhere we take it. Most of the time, yeah, we have both tops. We have the soft top and the hard top part. And anybody that has seen the Astronaut Wives Club that was on TV a year or so back, it was in it. It was John Glenn drove it in the Astronaut Wives Club on TV, that show. So it was pretty cool, yeah.
This week's winner of the Lokar Car Show's Pick of the Show Award, presented by McKee's 37, is Otto Horvath and his 1932 Ford 3-window coupe.
And I got a little bebop trailer that I pull behind when I'm taking my wife along with me. That's for suitcases, chairs, underwear, extra shoes, and all that female stuff that, you know, goes on. And if I'm not bringing that, that's where my mother-in-law goes. I knew a buddy of mine asked me if I was still looking for a car, and I said yes. So he told me that he knew a guy that had 2 cars for sale. And I asked what colors they were. One was purple, convertible, and one was orange. And orange, I was looking for a yellow car, but orange is close. But I wasn't too keen about the orange color until I saw it. It's really not pumpkin orange like this shirt. It's more of a reddish orange. So I said, as soon as I saw the car, I says, that's the car. I want that car right there. And that's how I bought it. I've done a lot of things to it. New rear end in it, the transmission's been rebuilt, the drive shaft's been rebuilt. I just put a new engine in it a year ago next month. And still trucking. I got a 350 small block Chevrolet, 290 horsepower. It's got a 350 turbo hydromatic trans Chevrolet, and it's got an 8-inch Ford rear. I got over 150,000 miles on the car since I got it. I drive it, I don't trailer it.
And all too soon, we're out of time on this week's Lokar Car Show. Next week, we're headed to the volunteer state of Tennessee for the Pontiacs of Pigeon Forge.